La 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 la. Just getting my vocal cords firing. Wah 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 wah. Yes, yes, the Casanovians. All right, boys. Happy Friday. Hope that all of you are well. I wanted to put this live stream together today to talk to you about the easiest way that I found to win with cold approach. So if you're watching this and you're feeling frustrated with the discipline of day game at the moment, maybe you've not done any approaches yet, maybe you're struggling to stay consistent, maybe you are grappling with that perceived lack of self-worth, maybe you're struggling to just motivate yourself to get outside and start having those conversations, maybe you feel as though you're not the man that you need to be right now, but you're not quite sure what you need to do or what you need to work on. It all just feels overwhelming for you right now, okay? And I get that. But what I've found is the easiest way to win with cold approach is having the right people around you, okay? So one of our longest serving Entourage members, Joseph, put it perfectly. He said, cold approach is not a solo sport, it's an extreme sport, and also it's a team sport. Okay, so if you really want to win with cold approach, if you really want to take this shit to the moon, have the dating life that you want through cold approach, then in my experience, it's important to be surrounded by the right people. It's important to have your brothers around you. It's important to have like-minded guys who you can actually talk to about this stuff. Because a lot of guys who want to get started with cold approach, or even guys who are actively involved with cold approach, it can oftentimes feel like a dirty little secret. It's like you don't have people in your life who you can talk to about this stuff with. So maybe you go out and you have a particularly negative cold approach session, or you have a string of back-to-back approaches that don't go your way. If you don't have an outlet, if you don't have people who like a support system in place that you can actually talk to about this stuff with, then it's easy to get stuck in a rut, like get stuck in your own head. I've explained to you boys before, the whole lone wolf approach is not sustainable and it's not healthy. Okay, just going out there, parading around the pavements, having this whole thing just be like in your own head, it's not the most optimal way to get started. Like you can get started on your own and that's fine. Like there's nothing stopping you today just going outside and start putting the reps in. I've explained to you boys 100 direct cold approaches. That's how many approaches it takes to actually develop proficiency. But oftentimes, guys don't actually hit that number because they don't have the support system in place. They don't have accountability. Also, they don't have healthy male competition as well. I had a comment recently on one of my videos from a guy, and he was like, "Oh yeah, but if more guys start approaching, that's more competition." And I'm like, "But why is competition a bad thing? Like we need competition, I think, as men. Like competition forces us to grow. Like I welcome as much competition as possible. Without competition, there's no necessity for growth. It makes us get complacent and start to sink into that comfort quicksand of complacency. So one of the most practical things that I would give to you boys is when you are outside in whatever city you're approaching in, so maybe you're in Barcelona, Bangkok, Manchester, London, fucking Grimsby, when you do go outside, just pay attention to other guys who may also be approaching, right? And don't see these guys as, oh, this is my competition. I need to outgame him. Oh, he's on my turf. I've noticed in London especially, it can get quite territorial. Like guys will be on the lookout for other guys who are approaching. And rather than bringing these guys on side and creating their own mini entourages, they'll battle against them. Doesn't really make that much sense in my mind. I think that we're all playing the same sport. Like we are all effectively on the same team. We all want the best deal for ourselves, right? We're all animals responding to incentives. So I think that if you don't have anybody in your life at the moment that you can actually go out there and cold approach with, or even just people you can talk to about this stuff with, the most practical thing that I would suggest is just when you are approaching, just look for other guys who are also approaching and then approach them. Just be like, hey, bro, you approaching? That's cool. Hey, should we go out? Should we wing together? And just see if that is a cool individual, right? It's important for me that whenever guys apply to join my private community, the Entourage, one of the first things that goes through my mind is this a person that I would want to be friends with outside of cold approach? That's one of the reasons why I've kept my entourage, my private network, the size that it is. Okay, so at the moment we've got 38 active members. I could have a lot more members in this community. I could make a lot more money than I currently make, but because the entourage, because this is like my life's project, this is like my decade long vision, right? I don't think in terms of days, I think in terms of decades, and I place the integrity of the group before my own monetary gain, because it makes no sense as well. Like there's no point in me like getting a guy to join the entourage if I don't actually like him as an individual, if I don't think I can deliver him results. Otherwise, it's just an expensive headache. It's not worth my time. I'm better off saying, hey, bro, listen, it's not you, it's me. But then it doesn't make any sense to add people into the group that I don't want to be friends with. So it's like, whenever you are meeting guys who are approaching, there needs to be more commonality than just, oh, we both like approaching, right? Like one of the guys who coached me in this space, Daniel, he said to me that whenever guys are looking to connect with other guys, just make sure you're doing things with your wings, which is not related to cold approaching, right? So maybe you go paintballing together, maybe you go watch a boxing match together, maybe you play fucking ping pong together. Just start forming those relationships with your wings, with other guys who are approaching outside of cold approach. That's why I say to you boys, learn day game, but don't become a day gamer, right? There's more to life than just going out there and chatting to women. But I think trying to do all this on your own, it goes back to the mantra before, cold approach, it's not a solo sport, it is a team sport, and it's an extreme sport. And that's why in our community, the Entourage, we've got a private WhatsApp group, and I'd recommend that you start putting something like this together. So let's say you go out and see City and you meet a couple of other guys who are approaching, just create a WhatsApp group between the two of you, between the three of you, the four of you, and use that for some accountability. Okay, so that's what our WhatsApp group is. And by the way, just shout out to every single person in the Entourage, because the WhatsApp group has been popping off in the recent weeks, especially yesterday. I woke up today and there was about 42, 43 messages from guys who are cold approaching in completely different cities all across the world, but like they're cold approaching simultaneously, right? So like as they're out on their individual sessions, it's like having wings in their pocket. So they're sending audio messages, video messages, written messages, just getting inspired by other people's approaches. Yeah, like one of our guys was like, okay, I thought I was going to call it a day, but I've just seen that this guy who's approaching in this country, in this city, he's absolutely crushing it. I'm going to stay out longer. So you've got the accountability, you've got the support system. Also, you've got a soundboard, right? I think, let's say you go out to cold approach and you have some particularly undesirable approaches. I think it's important to be able to let off that steam immediately. Yeah, rather than keeping it in your mind, rather than ruminating in your own egoic self-absorption. Just having guys, they don't even need to respond. So like if you've got like one guy in your life who you can talk to about this stuff, let's say you go out for a cold approach session this Saturday and the session doesn't go as planned. Like just knowing you've got somebody on the other end of the phone that you can send a voice message to, purely just to debrief, just to let those emotions, like it stops you from slipping into a negative headspace. Because I think what's beautiful about connecting with other like-minded guys in this space is they can help you normalize it, right? So it's like whenever our guys in the Entourage send messages into the group, maybe they had some particularly undesirable outcome, like a bad approach, a bad conversation, a bad date, then it's like, I can help them normalize it as well. Like I can bring in stories from when I first started cold approach. Like, dude, like I've been through like most of the inevitable vicissitudes of cold approach. I remember when I first got started with cold approach when I was living in Leeds, I didn't have any community in place. I hadn't got any coaching yet. It was just me on my own during Leeds, during the pandemic. And I would have dates which were scheduled, and then the girl would end up flaking on that date, and I was just like, oh my fucking god, like I didn't have anybody to talk to. So what I would do is I would create these video messages to myself. It felt therapeutic. It felt quite mentally medicinal because I didn't have anybody, right? I didn't have anybody to talk to about this stuff with. I was watching a few videos online, but it's not the same as being able to actually connect with people personally. And I would just make these video messages to myself, like, dude, had this date scheduled. I was meant to be meeting this girl in Hyde Park. I turned up, had a little fucking picnic ready, and just a good old William Flakespeare, nothing, just crickets. That is hard to stomach. But like I went through all those things on my own. So now it's like when guys work with me, it's like I've seen it all, I've done it all. Like I've got the fucking t-shirt. I understand how difficult it can feel sometimes, but it's like that mantra, throw me in hell, I'll find a way to enjoy it. When you're going through hell, keep going, have a smile on your face. Again, it's not a solo sport, it's a team sport and it's an extreme sport. And I think this applies to most things in life. Like when we surround ourselves with winners, we win. Yeah, a rising tide lifts all the boats. You've probably heard it before. The average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So it's like if you're surrounded by absolute savages when it comes to cold approach, then these guys are going to lift you up. You're going to have that healthy male competition. If you wake up and you check your WhatsApp group and you've got like 3 or 4 other guys who are already out there, who've been approaching, who've got dates lined up, who are absolutely crushing it. Like we had Ephraim, who a lot of you boys will know. Ephraim sent a message into the group yesterday, sent a voice message, and he was like, boys, I honestly cannot believe the progress which is being made in this group. It's like I've literally witnessed the transformation. So guys who join the entourage, who hadn't done any approaches, they've got that approach anxiety, they've got all those voices in their mind. Ephraim's like, now they're out there, they're approaching, they're recording themselves in public, they're having dates lined up. It's like, this is crazy transformation. I think this is probably for me the thing that I'm the most proud of out of like since I started all this stuff 4 years ago. It's the community that I've built, right? And that's why I believe my coaching is so effective, because it's not just coaching, it's community, it's dedicated support. Because there's only so far that my knowledge can actually reach, right? I'm 27 years old. I might know absolutely nothing. The more I learn, the less I know. And it's like, not only do my guys get to connect with me, but they get to connect with other guys. So guys are in like their late 30s, their 40s, even their 50s. So it's like, if a guy joins our community and let's say he's in his 40s, he can then connect with other 40-year-old guys, see them absolutely crushing it, and then that gives him permission to replicate those results. Or maybe we have a guy who's like in his early 30s and like he thinks, oh shit, is it over for me? Am I too old for this? And then he sees one of our guys who's in his 50s, who's like crusading across the globe, dating statuesque blonde bombshells who are half his age, and it's like evidence has got the loudest voice. It's like, what do you believe to be true about the world that isn't? I find that in my own transformation, you can't build an army of one, right? And it's like, whatever skill that I want to become proficient at, I find people who've got that skill and I learn from them. So for some context, at the end of next month, I'm actually attending this. It's like a secret mastermind. I'll probably document the thing. I might make a video about it. But anyway, I'm gonna be in a room which is filled with like 24 millionaires, like guys and women who are making like hundreds of thousands, some of them even millions of dollars a month. So the reason why I've decided to put myself into that environment is because I understand we surround ourselves with winners, we win, right? We become successful through osmosis. That's why the other month I spent 14,000 Great British pounds on business mentoring, because I understand I'm either going to pay with time or I'm going to pay with money. I will pay with whichever one that I value the least. I value my time more than I value money. So I find people who've got the skills that I want, I pay them, and they help me get to where I want to get to faster. So yeah, next month I'll be at this 3-day event, just surrounding myself with fucking millionaires. We've got like a yacht party, these fucking dinners going on. I'm like, yeah, that is the next evolution for me, because it's like every time that I grow, I take all my people with me. Do you understand? It's like I'm going all the way to the top and I'm taking all my people with me. It's like that obsession with progression, because I've got the community, because I've got the entourage, I see it as my responsibility to constantly be leveling up. I see it as like being like a father in a way. It's like I want to keep improving myself for my children. Do you understand? Because I think it's easy to get complacent, like, oh, I've mastered this skill set, I've got my international lifestyle, money's not a problem anymore, women not a problem anymore, oh well, let's go chill on a beach in Bali. No, I need to constantly be pushing myself, because the more I evolve, the more my community evolves. So yeah, just understand, it's not a solo sport, it's a team sport, and it's an extreme sport. So make sure you've got the right people around you. You can, if you want, try and convert some of your current friends into cold approach. It's a strategy that could work. It depends on how well you know the individual. If you can find other guys who are also on, let's call it the self-improvement wave, then actions speak louder than words. Yeah. So rather than trying to verbally convince one of your friends to come out and cold approach with you, like as you're walking through the city together, just go over and approach a girl. And then if you end up getting that girl's phone number, he's gonna be like, fuck, did you actually just go over and get that girl's number? Like, how do you do that? I want to do that. Like, this is literally happened in our group in the Entourage, where guys have worked with me, they've unlocked the skill, they've gone back to their home city, they've linked up with some of their old friends, they've gone out into the city together, and then their friends become instantly curious about this new skill set. It's like, wait, did you just go over to that girl and get her phone number? And the guy's like, yep. And then it's like, well, can you show me how to do this? It's like, that's the Entourage effect. It's like this ripple effect of positivity. And then I think the final thing that I'll say is a big reason why I put these live streams out there, as well as wanting to convince you to join the Entourage, which is like the greatest cold approach network on the fucking planet, because I've made it that way. It's to give you daily doses of optimism. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like, by me showing up every single day on these live streams, it tells your brain that it's still okay for you to do, right? So it's like when I upload new videos, when you see me out in the field doing the approaches, it's like it tells you that this is still okay to do. Does that make sense? It's like optimism is one of the greatest currencies. So every time you see me pop up on a live stream, it reminds you of the possibilities. It reminds you that, oh yeah, I can go out there, I can approach women. This is normal, this is natural, this is healthy. So it's like, just make sure you're watching these live streams every single day. I've heard them described as like a radio show for positivity and optimism. So I really like that. So yeah. Look for guys in your city who are also approaching. Do your best to convert some of your pre-existing self-improvement junkie friends into cold approach. If you want to join a pre-existing network, best network on the planet, Entourage, then you can apply to join us below. You can see my testimonials below as well. Hopefully, by now you already appreciate my credibility. And download the free course as well if you've not done so already. I give away information, I charge for implementation. So yeah, it's not a solo sport, it's a team sport, and it's an extreme sport. So make sure you've got the right people around you, and a rising tide lift all the boats. All right, boys, if you've enjoyed this live stream, drop it a like. I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Stay sexy, live legendary. I love you very much. Mwah.